So today we're going to talk about 3 must-haves for every couple's budget. Last week on the blog, I shared with you how to change your conversations about money. So in light of those steps, I've got 3 things that I think that your budget really needs. There's a lot of unique challenges when it comes to a couple's budget. There are 2 of you making decisions, and you both bring a lot of personality and gifts to the table. You also bring a lot of different clashing opinions to the table. But this doesn't mean it has to be something you dread, because you can grow and learn together. It's an opportunity for growth for both of you, as well as the opportunity for your marriage to grow. So here's 3 things I think every couple's budget needs. Number 1, giving. I know, sounds counterproductive, but you know who isn't in my counseling room arguing about money? Generous people. Seriously, couples who are generous aren't perfect and don't have perfect marriages, but the couples I know who are generous are not arguing about money. There's something very humbling and perspective changing about being generous with your finances. Because God's money anyway, it's not ours. He's the author of life. He's author of everything, and He owns everything. So anything we make is really His, isn't it? Generous people typically understand this, and when you have that perspective, it makes fighting about money hard because you aren't being possessive or selfish or controlling. In the same vein, when you understand God has given you the money you have, it makes you want to steward it well, which means you aren't likely to be reckless or thoughtless with your finances. The best way to grow in your understanding of money God's way, the best way to grow in your faith and trust in God, the best way to become generous is just to start. Start somewhere. Start giving some amount to the church, a nonprofit, or somebody in need. Make a budget line item for it and do it every single month. So together agree upon a set amount or a set percentage of your income. You can even start with 1% and be generous with that every single month. And I promise you, God's going to show up. He's going to grow you, your heart. He's going to begin to transform your view on money. And I promise this new view is going to be better, and that you will find that you actually like giving. So start giving somewhere today. Number 2, spending money for the spender in your marriage. If you're the saver in your marriage and you just don't understand why your spouse keeps spending money on things you wouldn't, you've got a few choices. You can continue to be frustrated, sure. Or you can allot them or talk about together a spending budget line item that they can use every month. Some people have a greater need for fun or hobbies or eating out than others, and choosing to fight your spouse's need for fun purchases is only going to make them miserable, and probably you miserable too. I've seen great success in couples who decide on a spending money monthly amount for the spender in their marriage, or for really both of them. It can be $5, $250, whatever your budget is and your income that works. Now, it doesn't mean the spender can spend whatever they want. They just have to spend only the allotted amount that you both agreed to be budgeted. But the key is they can spend the money on whatever they want. It's important that your spouse feels some freedom and some fun. Recognize that their desires and needs matter just as much as yours. So give them this spending money to meet that need for fun. Some couples will even do a spending money budget with each spouse, which really can work great. So here's what Nancy and I do. We each have kind of an amount each month that we can spend on whatever we want. We can spend that amount, we can let it accumulate to go towards something bigger, a bigger purchase or a gift or a donation. Nancy usually spends her money on things for the home or flowers, sometimes clothes, things that really enrich our lives. Things that I sometimes spend my money on are probably gadgets and technology, maybe some clothes. So here's how it's cut down our arguments, though. We agreed to not judge each other's spending. Nancy would not spend her money on the things that I spend on, and vice versa. Number 3, wise. Following a budget can be hard, annoying, boring, but it absolutely gives you more freedom and is the wisest thing to do with your money. And if you don't have a budget, you aren't telling your money where to go, and you're certainly being more reckless than you should. The studies are pretty clear about that. But that doesn't mean that following a budget is always exciting, because it's not. It's often really, really boring. That's why I think your budget needs more wise. It's so important for you to remember why you're doing what you're doing. It's important for you to dream and to plan for the future. So, are you saving for something? Why? What's it for? What will you do with the money once it's saved? Why do you spend money where you spend it? Why do you give money where do you give it? You know, Nancy and I give a tithe to our church, and then we give to other things like Compassion International and Campus Crusade and Billy Graham Association. And we're always looking for other ways to try to be generous. So what's happened in your budget that is good? What do you need to celebrate? What good has your money done recently? Keeping the whys in front of you and talking about them will help you stay motivated and help you to remember why you're doing what you're doing. And when you remember the whys, you remember to celebrate the good and you plan for what's really important. So make sure you're talking about all the whys in your budget as a couple. So I challenge you to add these 3 things to your budget if they're not already there. And hey, we would love to know how these things impact your marriage and your finances. You can always find me on social media and message me there on Instagram at Dr.Kim Kimberling or on Facebook at awesome.marriage, or you can always email us at info@awesomemarriage.com. I love hearing you. I love to hear what God's doing in your life, in your marriage. Your budget is there to help you steward your resources well for the glory of God and the good of others, and it's there to give you freedom as a couple to plan, to save, and to dream. Keep doing the hard work of budgeting and working together as a couple with your money. Keep the whys in front of you, and don't forget to have a little fun along the way too.